everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if this is the first video of mine you are seeing, then welcome. I went through my entire makeup collection and I pulled products that I feel like are my least used in each category. However, that is kind of subjective for some categories because there are some where I don't have a lot of products. Like for example, brow products. I only have 3 brow pencils, so they get used quite frequently, but I just picked the one that hasn't been in my rotation the longest, so that's how kind of went through some of these categories where I don't have a lot of products in those. But if that sounds interesting, let's go ahead and get started. The only thing I am wearing right now is my Hard Candy Glosstopia Lip Repair Oil. This one is in the shade Peach Dream. And then I just have my eyeshadow primer on, the Milani eyeshadow primer, and then I set that with my Say Air Set powder. I only have one eyeshadow primer, so of course this is the only one I use. And then as far as the lip oil, this is the newest one to me, so I just decided to use that one since it definitely has the least amount of uses since it's new. I'm going to start with brows. I have the e.l.f. Instant Lift Waterproof Brow Pencil. This one is in the shade Deep Brown. This one, I did use this one. I think I purchased this last month, but it hasn't been in my everyday makeup drawer since. But I will say that this shade, this is a really pigmented brow pencil, so honestly, I think the shade below this one is neutral brown, I think. I probably could get by with using that shade simply because this is such a pigmented brow product. Like, I am barely touching my skin with it because if I go overboard, it can definitely look a little bit weird. So I'm just barely touching my skin. I do like this pencil though, but I think that I could have used a different shade because this one is really dark. It's a lot darker than I thought it would be. I feel like a lot of brands, when they say like dark brown in brow pencils, it's usually like a very soft, light, warm brown, which I find odd. But if you're looking for a good, affordable brow pencil, I say, yeah, look at this one. It's a good one. I don't know if it is actually waterproof. I don't really put my makeup in that kind of, test to see if it's waterproof, but all in all, I think it's a good pencil. And I know they have a thinner brow pencil too, so if you want more like hair-like strokes, I know they do make those options too. Now for brow gel, I picked out this one from Refi. This is their Brow Sculpt. This one is just in the clear. It's been a while since I've used this one. I feel like it just comes out, it looks white. And sometimes if you're not careful, it can leave that stuff in your brow, so you definitely have to not use too much of it. But I do like this brow gel. I have not used a lot from Refi. I'd like to try some more of their products. They have a new mascara out that I would really love to try. But this is kind of one of those brow products that's kind of give you that laminated brow look, which I used to love that look, but now it's not really for me. I'd rather just do my brows the way I've been doing them, but this is going to give you that effect. So if you like that look, you will like this product. Just be careful with the amount you use because it can get kind of, leave like little white stuff in your brows if you use too much. Like, I really do love that fluffy brow look that some people have, and I used to try to get that look so much, but I just don't know if it really looks good on me. See, like, you can see how it's kind of fluffed up the front of my brows, and I have, like, really long brow hairs. I need to, I guess, like, trim them, but I haven't done it lately, so. But I do think it's a nice brow product. It's not a bad brow product, and I really want to try their mascara. I wish they made it in a brown. This past Friday, I had a video go up where I picked out 10 palettes for spring. So one of the palettes I picked was this Nouveau palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And I haven't used this one in a while, so I thought it'd be a really pretty palette to pull out. And I want to do a green look. I want to match my shirt with my little mushrooms on it. I'm wearing my little mushroom earrings. So I'm going to start with the shade Floor. Okay, that shade. On a blending brush from e.l.f. I guess it's Floor. Oh, could I sound any more American? And then I'm going to put that in my crease. I just want something that's kind of like a good transition shade for me. Of course, I will say my eyelids already look like they have a tint to them because that Say Loose powder, while I like that powder, I feel like it oxidizes. Even though it's the translucent, it oxidizes on me. It's probably my least favorite powder in my collection because of that. Like, it's a nice powder, the actual formula of the powder, but it oxidizes. So I'm trying to use it up and get rid of it, if I'm being honest. So I did include it in today's video. You'll see it later when I set my face. But I thought maybe if I kind of start using it to set my eyeshadow primer, I can get some good use. Using that same brush, I'm going in with the shade Liberty. I'm going to stamp that shade on this outer portion of my lid. I love spring so much. Like, I was so happy filming that video that went up this past Friday where I was pulling out all these spring palettes, and I have more that could be used for spring. Like, definitely they have that spring vibe, but I just felt like 10 was a good number. But I have so many more that I could have used as well, because I love the colors of spring. I love how the pastels, the softness, it's just my favorite season. I think a lot of people love fall, and fall is very pretty, but fall and winter would be like my two least favorites, simply because it gets colder and the weather gets more kind of dreary. I love the sun, I love the warmth, so spring and summer are probably my more favorite times of the year for that reason. I just keep dipping back in, by the way, too. Like, I start with small amounts. I'd rather start small and build up than go in with too much too soon. I'm going to go in with the shade Wings on a concealer brush from e.l.f. And I'm not going to spray my brush right off. I just want to apply this shade just on its own. You know, I want to start doing videos like this more often where I am using what I have, because it's kind of nice just going through your collection and just working with products like this that maybe you haven't used in a while. Now, like I said, for some of these, let's see how pretty that is. Some of these I have used because I just don't have a lot in certain categories. But for the categories that I do have a little bit more, like eyeshadow or blush or even foundation, because I feel like I have really been buying foundations lately, which I need to knock it off. But I just want to try new foundations. I just think it's nice to use what you have too. I love trying new makeup, and that's something that I'll probably continue to do, simply because I just love it, and I like to try the new things and see if things are worth it. But I also want to use what I have as well. I thought about starting like a project pan too, but I don't know. I mean, I just feel like that might be a lot of pressure. Like, if I document it, because I might feel really bad if I don't make the progress that I want to make. But I really admire people who, their channels, they have a lot of project pan content. I really admire those people. I think that's incredible. And to see the amount of products that they're actually able to go through. Like, I have hit pan on some of the products I own, but, you know, there's a lot of stuff that does go untouched in my collection. Let's just be honest. That's going to happen if you have a large collection of something. Like, for me, probably the biggest collection would be my eyeshadow palettes, which I definitely want to do a declutter soon and really go through those, because there are just some palettes I know I'm probably never going to wear again, simply because my preferences have changed. Now look how pretty. That's so pretty. And even though it's like a green, it's still like muted, so which is what I love. So it's just like a very, you know, wearable green. But I mean, any makeup can be wearable, but I think you know what I mean. Like, you probably could wear this to work. Kind of wearable is what I mean. I guess depending on your job. Okay, before I go in with like my mascara and stuff, I want to go ahead and put on my primer and letting that be sinking in. And my least used is this one from Milani. This is the Skin Quench Hydrating Primer. It just comes in, come on now, focus for me. There we go. Comes in a packaging just like this. I like this primer. I have no issues with it whatsoever. I just feel like I haven't used it in a while. And, ooh, is there anything? Oh, there it goes. It just looks like that. It kind of, when you first squeeze it out of the tube, it kind of smells like suntan lotion, like, you know. I thought I'd go ahead and start applying this, like, right now, and letting it be sinking in. I already had a little bit of glow to my skin, though, because of my SPF, so I probably maybe should have kept this on the outer portions of my face, because there's a lot of glow going on now. But it's okay. Yeah, if you like hydration, you will definitely like that primer, that glow. Of course, my face, there again, it was glowy when I had an SPF on that has a little bit of glow, so, but I feel like if you want that extra hydration, like a primer that feels kind of like another moisturizer, I think you would really like that one. Okay, and I'm just going to curl my lashes, and the mascara I'm going to use is this one from Hard Candy. This is their Girl Scouts, the Indulgent Volumizing Mascara. It's in a brown shade. Now, my mascaras, I rotate them you know, every day. I'm using a different one every day, so I don't really have a least used mascara, so I just wanted to use this one. This one is so nice. I wish it wasn't limited edition. Like, I don't know if Hard Candy has a mascara like this in their permanent line, but they really should keep this. And just, I know they can't keep the Girl Scout thing, but just like remove that and make this a permanent mascara formula. It is so good. If you haven't seen the wand, it's kind of like this hourglass type wand, but it's a really nice one. And it definitely, it's not marketed as a waterproof, but it will hold the curl. It hasn't smudged or flaked on me, and it definitely lasts all day. It's a touch difficult to remove, like not bad, but just a little bit, but honestly for the longevity it has, I think it's worth it. Like, that's one coat of this mascara. I mean, it's really incredible. It's not, and I did poke myself a little bit right there, but it's such a nice, it might be hard to tell because of the eye look, but that's why I'm trying to kind of look up so you can see it. It's so nice. Definitely would recommend this one. If you see it, I would grab it and try it. I just think it's a nice, I know mascara is personal, but I just feel like to me, it's worth the try. Like, if it's something that you might think you'd be interested in, I think it's worth the try. And if you like brown mascaras, because it is a brown shade, but it's so nice. That is one coat on both sides. And honestly, one coat is all you need, I feel like. For me, for what I'm looking for, this is enough. Now, 2 coats was when I had a little bit trouble removing it, but 1 coat, still just a touch difficult, but not as bad. But 2 coats definitely was a lot harder to remove. I had to definitely go back in with, you know, some micellar water and really kind of, but this is stunning. Hard Candy, please make that mascara permanent. I know you can't keep the Girl Scout thing, but just take that off, make this mascara permanent. I hate knowing that it's limited edition. Alright, I'm going to zoom you out a little bit here. So, because the foundation I feel like I haven't used in a while. I feel like I need to shake this one up a little bit because it had kind of been sitting in my drawer for a little while. It's from CoverGirl. This is their clean liquid foundation in the shade 105 Ivory. This foundation takes me back to when I first started wearing makeup. This was one that I would wear a lot when I first started. This one, and then there was one from Revlon. I don't think Revlon still makes that foundation. I don't know. No, I don't think they do. But now Revlon, unfortunately, is not cruelty-free. So I'm just going to take a little drop of it like that. I'm going to apply it with my hands. I might have to go back in with some more because that was not a lot, but I'm just going to apply it with my fingers. Why not? I've been doing that lately because I've had some foundations that I got recently that are more like tints, and they look better when you use your fingers than they do with a sponge or brush. Like, one of them is the, what's that? Oh, the Diamond Skin Tint from Physicians Formula. That one, definitely use your fingers. A brush or a sponge did nothing. Nothing. And then I have, now the one I have from CoverGirl, the new one from their Simply Ageless line that has like the little beads in it. Now, it applies really nicely with a brush, but honestly, I applied it the other day with my fingers and it looked good that way too. So that's kind of the way I've been wearing it. I love using sponges and brushes too, but there are some formulas like this one that are kind of thinner that I feel like they apply really nicely with your hands. And this is the way I applied foundation in school. I only used my fingers. I never used brushes or sponges. Yeah, that's a pretty foundation. It looks really pretty on the skin. Looks really natural. I am so glowy, but I mean, I'm not against that because it just kind of, I mean, it might be, I don't know how it might look on camera. I feel like sometimes I look more glowy on camera than I do in person, but in person it just kind of looks more like your skin's just really healthy and plump. Now on camera it might look greasy. As far as my color corrector, I kind of, there again, I rotate those quite frequently, so I'm just going to use this one right here I have from e.l.f. This is their Putty Color Correcting Eye Brightener in the shade Fair. And as you can see, I have hit pan on this. This is such a good product. I think it's supposed to be a dupe for like the Smashbox and Becca one, which, I mean, I like that one too, so, you know. Ooh, I might have applied too much. It's okay. It's okay. Use my finger. I have a big pan in that one as well, so these are products that I do use frequently. I like to rotate these around, but out of the ones I've used lately, this one hasn't been the most latest. This is really nice color corrector. Like, if you want like a more affordable color corrector, I think this one's nice, and I believe they have maybe 5 or 6 different shades, maybe more than that. So I feel like maybe it's a decent shade range. I'm not too familiar with like how many shades are needed in color corrector, but I feel like they have that many when some brands like only do like maybe 2 or 3. So I feel like that's pretty good. I feel like concealer is another one of those that I rotate quite frequently. It's just in some of these categories I don't have a lot of products, but I try to use the one that I have used the least amount, and this one would probably be it. This is the Essence Keep Me Covered Concealer. I think this one, it's not on the little tube, but I believe this is the shade Pale, which is actually probably a little bit too light. Well, I don't know. We'll just do two little dots here. I don't remember it being a bad concealer. It probably has been a little bit since I've used it because I tend to stick with the concealers that are in my everyday makeup drawer. So I probably haven't used this one, well, I don't know. It might have been a few months ago when it was last in there. Oh, and by the way, this brush that I'm using, this is the Fluffy Eye Blender brush from e.l.f., but I like that it's kind of a little bit more fluffy, so I feel like it kind of helps diffuse the product a little bit before I can go press it in with my finger. I don't remember this being a bad concealer, but I don't know if this is the shade, if this is the product that I'm thinking of that did not have a good shade range from Essence. I'm not sure if this is the one. But I don't think it's bad product. But they should make more shades if it is the product that I'm thinking of. I pulled both a pressed powder and a loose powder that I feel like are probably my least, well, this is one I've used quite frequently. It's hard to do this with powders because I rotate them. But this is the Kosas Cloud Set powder. This one's in the shade Airy. You can see I have pretty good dent in it. This is one of those powders that I hear a lot of people say, oh, you can apply so much of that, it's never going to cake up. It's always going to be lightweight. I don't believe that because I have absolutely applied this powder sometime and in a light amount, and I still feel like sometimes it can look cakey. And maybe it's just because mine is a little bit older. I've had mine probably for, I don't know, maybe 2 years, or I'm not sure, over a year, and maybe that's why. But I just feel like I don't agree with that. If you apply a lot of it, it's never going to look cakey. No, I think that absolutely it can look cakey if you're not careful. It can look very drying. So I don't know, maybe I'm in the minority on that one. I feel like a lot of people love it, and I have nothing against it. I think it's an okay powder. I don't think that you can sit there and apply a lot of it and say that it never looks cakey. No. I think it absolutely can look cakey, at least on me. Okay, I have my powder from Saie. This is the Air Set Radiant Loose Setting Powder. This one's in the translucent, but can you kind of see like how it looks? It does not look translucent. I mean, it is, but it's almost like it's got a tint, even though it's translucent, and I just find that it's really dark on my skin. It kind of oxidizes. If you use like a smaller brush and use it in more concentrated manner, I feel like it can look dark. So what I like to do is take a really huge fluffy brush like this. This is from e.l.f. This is their 101 brush. I think they still sell this brush. It's just a huge fluffy brush, but any fluffy brush will do. And I just press it kind of into the powder, and then I just do it like this. Because I feel like if I use a very small concentrated powder brush, like I would probably normally like really go into this area right here, oh no, I feel like it darkens my foundation. And you might it might still be doing that in this way too, but it's not as bad. I love the powder, but I just wish that it was actually a translucent, because I just don't feel like it is, at least not on me. I just feel like it oxidizes every time I use it. So I just like to use a big fluffy brush, and I'm just going to bring some down my neck a little bit too. I don't have any foundation there, but I just kind of, because I feel like if the powder does end up starting to oxidize, then maybe what little bit I have on my neck will kind of help me match it a little bit. But I love Saie's products. They're definitely that no makeup kind of style, which I do love. I don't know. I just don't like that. But I mean, if you use a big fluffier brush, it's not so bad. But that's probably why it would be my least use for that reason alone. See, like do you kind of see how it looks so much brighter under here where I put the Kosas versus the side? Now that I have all the rest of my face set and everything, I'm going back in with that palette. I'm going to go back in with the shade Liberty on a small angled brush from e.l.f. And I'm just going to keep that on this outer half of my lower lash line. Just the outer half. I want to put another shade on the inner half part, but I wanted to put this shade down. And then using that same brush, I'm going in with the shade Paloma. And that shade I'm going to put right here in the inner corner, but then I'm going to also drag it along this beginning half of that lower lash line. And there is the eye look all done. For bronzer, my least used would be this one, probably from Physicians Formula. This is their Butter Buddies bronzer in Butter Puff. I just think that packaging is just so cute. And I love this thin packaging. I wish they did that more. I'm just using this, more fluffier brush from Betsey Johnson. These brushes don't exist now. They were only available during like the holidays, maybe about 2 years ago, but I really like them. I just like that shape. These are probably the brushes I reach for the most when I do like my bronzer and my blush. It has that butter scent or whatever they call that scent. It's in all of their butter line. It has that scent to it. So if you like that scent, I'm not sure if these Butter Buddies are still available. I think that was like a limited edition collection they did. Some of them might still be available, I'm not sure. But I just thought the packaging was so cute with that cute little face on it. And it's a pretty bronzer shade. Like it's light. You might could build it up some, but I feel like it's more on the lighter side. For highlighter, this would definitely be my least used. This one, and then this brand has 2 other shades. I also have those too. This is from I don't think I've actually used this product since I did a video on this brand, which I think I ended up privating that video because it didn't do well at all. Nobody was interested in it, but this is from a brand called Metamorphosis. It's an animal theme indie brand. This is their Briondo highlighter in the shade Soy Fuerte, or I'm Strong. It's a loose, glittery highlighter. It's very pretty. It's very pretty, but it is so messy. You can see. It's just one of those. And because it's messy, I just don't reach for it. But they're very glittery though. So if you don't like glitter, you are not gonna like these. It's just, I think that's the only reason why I don't reach for them, is just they're really just a messy formula. Like that loose, oh goodness. But I'm keeping them simply one reason, because of the packaging. There are deer on them, and I love deer. Deer are my favorite animal. They're my namesake dearly, so I definitely want to keep them, but they're just not something I use a lot simply because they're so messy. But they are pretty. If you love a glittery look, then you'll love them. Or if you like to take like the puff that they include and just pat it everywhere, I think that's so pretty. I'm not someone who does that. I think it would be stunning if you're not, maybe out by a pool or you're at the beach. I think that would be a really pretty time to do that. I mean, you of course could do it anytime you want, but that's just, when I think of myself, if I was to do that, it would definitely be. Do you see how it looks like it's oxidized even more? Like, look at my neck, and look. I'm going to take that same fluffy brush, and I'm going back in with that Kosas powder. I'm going to wipe off any excess that I think, and I'm going to just go into this powder, and I'm going to put over the top. I'm going to see if that can kind of help. I know I'm probably going to smear glitter all over my face, but it's okay. Yeah, I don't know. I might have to declutter that powder, or just see if I can get as much use out of it as possible of like setting my eyeshadow primer, because it does that. Every single time I wear it lately, it just oxidizes, and I hate it because it's such a pretty powder. For blush, I have quite a lot of blushes that go neglected, because it is probably my second biggest collection after my eyeshadow palettes, so I just kind of pulled one that I thought would match this green eye look that I wanted to do today. And this one's from Tarte. This is one of their Amazonian Clay 12-hour blushes. This one's in the shade Captivating. I thought it was just a really pretty, kind of peachy shade. This came in a holiday set probably a few years ago, so it is just a mini, but I feel like I just don't wear it, so it's time to get some good use out of it. I'm not sure how pigmented this is, so I just picked up a small amount. That's pretty. Ooh, I love that peachiness. It looks so pretty with the green. These are really nice blushes from Tarte. They are really, good. Like if you're just looking for just a solid powder blush, I think these are decent. Now that's a pretty shade. It's sad that I'm not wearing that more than I am because that's really pretty. See, that's another reason why I love these videos. See, you rediscover something that's just so pretty that's been sitting in your collection already. That's so stunning. I like those videos where you'll see some creators, like, they go through their entire collection and, like, figure out if there's things they want to keep or declutter. Like, they'll use it on camera and then they'll decide right then and there if it's something they think they're going to use or not. I like those too. And I think that's a good test of some products, like that Say powder. For lips, okay, of course, probably my least used lip products would be any red that I have, but I definitely did not want to do a red with this eye look. I wanted to pull like out a peach, but then I said, well, no. Probably my least used, other than the red shades, would be this one right here from Rare Beauty. This is the Kind Words Matte Lip Liner in the shade Gifted. This is more of a deeper shade. I don't really wear a lot of deeper lip liners, or I mean lipsticks in general in that kind of shade, but I probably should pull out something more peachy, but I'm just gonna see. I might can just take like a brush and just keep it really minimal. Alright, I'm barely touching my lips. Barely. I'm trying not to get it too dark because I don't think it would go with this eye look. Pretty shade, but I'm not wearing it full on because I don't think it would have went with this eye look, but I don't use that shade a lot, but it is pretty. So the lipstick is this one from e.l.f. This is one of their Au Face satin lipsticks. This one's in the shade No Doubt. This is a really pretty brown. This is a newer shade to me, so it's definitely least used. I think I've only used it one time, so I wanted to use it again in this video. There you have this full face of my least used products, or some of them are definitely least used. I do get use out of some more than others simply because I don't have a lot in that particular category, but this was so much fun just to go through my collection and pick out some products. I think next time when I do this video, I'm going to take you along with me so you can see me pick out the products too. I think that would maybe be a fun thing to include as well. Kind of like the shop my stash and then include the tutorial afterwards. I think that would be fun. But I mean, a lot of these products are so pretty. Like the blush, the eyeshadow, the brow products, everything, the lip products, everything is just really pretty. So I want to do this again. But if you did enjoy today's video, I hope you will please consider leaving a like, a comment, or subscribing if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so you're alerted to all my future uploads. And please make sure to follow me over on Instagram at Jessica Dearly, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!